The best male gymnast in the world, Olympic champion Alexei Nemov, who took home more medals from Sydney than any athlete in any sport. Svetlana Horkina, call her Sveta, 2 silvers and a gold in her specialty uneven bars. But Sydney will always remain to her a missed opportunity. American gymnasts, male and female, came home empty-handed. No medals of any color. But in them, hope for the future. Now, Americans and Russians will perform together, on tour, in a display of their Olympic talents, without the pressure and the scrutiny of competition. Free to show off, not what was or what could have been, but what is, a celebration of gymnastics. Hello everyone, and welcome to the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions. I'm Beth Ruiak, and with me for the show, my favorite Olympians. Elfie Schlegel, just back from Sydney, Australia. Tim Daggett, down from Massachusetts. Come on, guys, smile. Here's the show. Off we go at the pommel and the mushrooms, Tim.
That's right. We're going to see a lot of different gymnastics tonight. Very different from what we saw just weeks ago in Sydney, Australia. A lot of freewheeling and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and they're going to give the audience a little introduction into some of the beginner stages of what young athletes would learn, beginning on the mushrooms and then heading over to the pommel horse.
There's 4 of the 6 Olympic team members. Got the Ham twins, Shawn Townsend and Blaine Wilson.
Tim, it's so much different for everybody to see the guys up there doing gymnastics in their street clothes. I've never seen anyone perform on the pommel horse in jeans.
I'm told it's Lycra, Beth.
Lycra jeans, right?
It's really a great opportunity for the athletes, though. You train so hard, and as you mentioned, so much scrutiny. Every step, every hand placement is just gone over by the judges. They get to enjoy themselves, have a little bit of fun out on the floor.
They've talked a lot about the fact that performing these numbers together is so much fun. They enjoy the little bit that they've been able to integrate some of their own choreography and skills.
And this was a very close-knit group in Sydney, Australia, a group that was made up of both youth and experience.
Working man in gymnastics and national champion on the pommel horse, John Roethlisberger.
John Roethlisberger, the spirit and the heart of the team. Look at his face as he says hi to the guys. And always the showman, even after 3 Olympics, doing it like he just started.
But you know, Beth, at John Roethlisberger's core is he is a fighter. He has endured, he has persevered, and that is what has made John Roethlisberger a champion.
And Tim, another word that sums up John Roethlisberger is passion. You always feel how much the sport has meant to him.
John Roethlisberger.
That's where it's like he just started. The big smile, the joy of it, still loving it, even though he says someday he wants to try something that isn't in the gym. Maybe something in business, something out of the box. Hard to believe. Shawn Townsend was so inspired after the Olympics that he's telling us he may want to continue, and he's going to try to balance going to college after the tour with continuing to train for the next Olympics.
Well, I would hope that he does, because he is a tremendous talent. You see him having a little bit of fun.
A little bit. We haven't seen that before.
Tremendous talent, but also one of the younger athletes on the team.
And Tim, I really think one of the athletes that has taken some lessons from John Roethlisberger, always very focused, very serious about his gymnastics, but nice to see him having some fun here.
Say it, Tim. He sucked that landing.
Gonna get some bonus points for that, Beth. Beautiful swing sequence here. He goes all the way right to the end with a full twisting double laid out somersault.
But he does this so well. A stick. Feels good.
When we come back on her feet with a whole new look, Morgan White.
The routines have been performed. The scores tabulated. The competition completed. You've given your all, your very best. Still, one challenge remains. What are you going to wear home? TJMaxx is proud to sponsor the 2000 Tour of World Gymnastics Champions. Fashion, some people get it, some get it for less. TJMaxx.
The 2000 Tour of World Gymnastics Champions is brought to you by TJMaxx. Some people get it, some get it for less. TJMaxx. And by Lycra. Enjoy the difference that Lycra brings to clothes and to you.
Morgan White's Olympics never happened. A fractured foot meant she couldn't compete, so she decided to go back to the States.
I don't regret it. It was definitely the right decision for me, but it was hard for me to see them walk out and be on the Olympic floor and stuff like that. I just wanted to be there and walking out with there, and I felt like I should be. You know, part of me felt cheated, but, you know.
Back at home, Morgan regrouped, and that included a whole new look. Now she's looking forward to the tour and whatever comes after it.
Being here on tour and stuff is really helping me. But, you know, when I got done with Sydney, there was something in me that just wasn't, you know, happy with the way I ended, obviously, and wanted to keep going. So whether or not I go for 2004, you know, it's a long time away, but I want to keep going and try for the next Worlds.
Tim and Elfie, she knows people are going to be surprised seeing her here at the tour, because when you think of a broken foot, you think about many weeks out of commission. And she is still sore, it's still healing, but she's able to do those non-pounding moves right now.
And I tell you, it was devastating to see her have to leave the Olympic Games. She was one of the few that really was a shoo-in to make that team if she did what she was capable of doing. She went through this rigmarole of this selection procedure. She did everything she was supposed to do. She made it all the way, and days before her Olympic dream came true, she couldn't go on. Really, really too bad.
We only had ourselves. Nobody else, no one there to save us. We had to save ourselves.
Morgan talked about possibly competing in next year's World Championships, and she left Sydney, Australia with the Code of Points, which is the new rules of the sport that will point towards 2004. So who knows?
And when the sun would shine,
She'll be saying this in 2004. Oh, how the years go by.
oh, how the years go by. And oh, how the love brings tears to my eyes. All through the changes, soul never dies.
Have you had people ask, people everywhere say to me, how's Morgan? We love Morgan. She had such a popularity, especially with the young
they love Morgan
gymnasts.
White, and that's an athlete we should see in the coming years.
Here's another one, Morgan Hum.
Another one of the young Hom twins.
And what a thrill for Morgan. He was an event finalist on the floor exercise at the Olympic Games in his first Olympic Games. Amazing.
These guys were amazing, and after the Olympics, they wanted to have some of the fun. So they went to the women's USA-Norway soccer finals, and even though USA ended up losing the game, Morgan was such a cheerleader, he lost his voice that night. He was having his own experience as a fan.
Oh, that's great.
Well, these two young men, Morgan and his twin brother, Paul, they really have virtually no physical weaknesses in the sport of gymnastics. They're young, they're healthy, they do tremendous difficulty.
It's frightening, Tim, how good they are at this age.
Morgan Home.
You talk about hope for the future. Morgan and his brother Paul, along with Morgan White, may be the faces that we see in Athens in 2004. Here's another one. Ryan Weston and Jennifer Perilla up on trampoline, and Jennifer, of course, the very first Olympic athlete on trampoline the United States has ever had.
And trampoline was so much fun to cover at the Olympic Games. I couldn't get over how large the crowds were at the Superdome. It was amazing, the support that they got.
Jennifer got invited to this event and said, I'm not going to do it unless Ryan comes with me because it's so fun to do trampoline duets.
And you'll see why on this move coming up right here. Check this out.
Very cool. Ryan's aiming for 2004, and Jennifer says she's not willing to give it up yet, although her coach is retiring. So if you're in the market to coach an Olympic trampoline athlete, give Jennifer Perilla a call. By the way, the trampoline is the social center of the tour. Everybody hangs out around it and takes their bounces. You know who's real good? Steve McCain and Shannon Miller on trampoline. Oh, she loves to fly. Jennifer Perilla and Ryan Weston. If the United States had qualified a rhythmic gymnast to go to the Sydney Games, it would have been Jessica Howard, 16 years old, from Jacksonville, Florida.
And Beth, Jessica's performing with her favorite apparatus. This is a sport that has such great audience appeal, and one of the reasons being is that the athletes make the exercise and the apparatus look like an extension of their body. It's really quite beautiful.
With her flexibility, I asked her if she started doing splits when she was 3 or 4 years old, and she said she started late. She didn't begin the sport till she was 10 years old, but she's dedicated her life to it, and she really feels that the Olympics coming up will be the one for her.
A lot of ballet training involved in this sport. As you said, flexibility being a key component in all the routines. Trying to make it look as easy as possible.
Elfie, I don't want to give away family secrets, but you did get emails during the games about your relatives enjoying watching this sport on TV.
They actually said that it reminded them of Cirque du Soleil. Really beautiful exercise.
And we'll be back with more of the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions after this. We are in Las Vegas, and you can see where the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions. Russian teammates Svetlana Horkina and Elena Prudnova taking in a little of the Caesar's Palace view. They love being in America, and they really love being able to practice their English.
And Yelena loves to shop. I've seen her shop before. She wears some of the most outrageous clothes and shoes.
She is such a tough gymnast, a tough person.
Actually battled with a foot injury the entire Olympic Games and just was so gritty throughout the entire competition. Never gave in. It looked like before the meet even began that she wasn't going to be able to hold on, but somehow she did. Coming up right here, one of her trademark releases.
She wants to stay in America or come back here and live here somehow, so she's looking forward to whatever her gymnastics or acting possibilities might be after the tour.
And she really thrives in these show arenas with the spotlight. She absolutely loves it here, you're right.
Yelena's Russian teammate, Alexei Nemov, certainly knows what it means to be a champion. He took home 6 medals from the Sydney Olympics and adds that to his collection of 6 medals from Atlanta. Alexei knows everything there is to know about gymnastics, but he's just learning what it's like to be a father. He wasn't home when his child was born last month. He was already in Australia. And he told us he was nervous to even see a picture of his son.
Не знаю, просто я думаю, что
I don't know why, but I didn't want to break my concentration because everything was going well with my training.
поэтому
I was afraid that I would be very nervous and think too much about the baby.
потом, когда
But after, when I saw video with my son, it was much better for me. I got even more energy.
It was a triumph in Sydney. He had done the job he came to do. And afterwards, Nemov headed home to finally meet his baby boy.
Просто когда я приехал, я увидел, я просто
When I saw him first time, I just sat down and started to cry. I was afraid to hold him because I came very late at night. I picked him up only in the next day. It's hard to describe, but I'm very happy because I have a son.
у меня есть my win and my medals for my family, for my wife, my son, and for my fans.
Are you impressed and surprised to hear him speak English?
He, in the past, has always been so nervous to try his English, but I guess after an Olympic all-around gold medal, you're ready to say anything.
I'd be willing to bet the Olympic all-around gold medal he'll remember forever, but that picture of that little baby boy is the thing he's going to cherish a lot more dearly, no question.
There's the showman.
Yeah, he's got charm. He knows how to work the crowd.
Yeah, he always has been able to do that. The thing that he did more was trained harder. His coach, Leonid Arkayev, said he prepared better than ever for these Olympic Games.
So I wonder if little Alexei is going to inherit the genes of the showman here.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he inherits the gymnastics genes, he'll be a star, just like his dad. 12 Olympic medals. He is one of the all-time greats of the sport.
Here come the backflip boys. You guys ready for this? If you ever wondered if they can dance,
we'll find out.
Hey.
Confession to make, Beth and Elfie. This is my 3-year-old son, Peter's favorite song.
You know, I asked John Roethlisberger about this. He said, Beth, I'm 30 years old. I'm dancing to the Backstreet Boys. But if I'm going to do it, just like Blaine Wilson, he said, I'm going to try to sell it.
He's going to do it with some style and flair. I guarantee you that. I'm impressed.
Okay, I asked the Hahn brothers about this. I said there are a lot of teenagers up there in the audience that are going to scream when this part of the backflip boys happens. And they laughed and they said, Beth, we hope so.
It's great to see these guys come together once again as a team, have a little fun, show off, flex their muscles.
I think you just called it right, Elfie. Showing off and having a little fun. They keep talking about these group numbers being their favorite numbers.
The men don't get an opportunity to dance to music on the floor exercise.
That's probably the most conservative comment you can make about this number.
Sean Morgan.
All right, the backflip boys are headed for a costume change, and we'll be right back. Russia's diva Svetlana Khorkina was a favorite for all-around gold in Sydney. But things didn't go her way.
Looking back, I was ready to be champion, but it didn't happen. In the end, I should be happy because I'm Olympic champion, two-time Olympic champion, and life goes on. There is nothing I can do.
The team medal was clearly not the color she wanted. And then came the night of the all-around finals. Her hopes for gold fell apart on vault, and it seemed her spirit had been broken.
They just moved it. We have one of 4 apparatus in the Olympic Games that was either not measured or mismeasured.
After the vault, I was hurt a lot, physically and mentally. And for me, the competition was over. It was very hard to concentrate and do my bar routine.
But there was another chance in the event finals on uneven bars. And this time, it was a gold medal performance. Khorkina couldn't hide her emotions, and maybe that's the part of her the audience always loves.
I love the public. The American fans are very good to me. I know this, and I will give them the best show that I can.
She's talking about continuing gymnastics as much as she can, but in the same breath, she talks about wanting an acting career, movies, modeling, whatever it might be.
One thing for sure, she loves the spotlight.
And this is an event that she has dominated since 1994. Back-to-back Olympic gold medals on this apparatus. She didn't have to stick the landing. She just does it in her own way, her own style.
She knows how to stick the smile on the end of anything, doesn't she? From Sveta on the bars, we go back to our American men on the parallel bars, and they said, really, this one is the favorite in the show.
Kind of gets the whole team involved here.
The fans know these guys on such a first-name basis that they'll call out, hey Blaine, hey Morgan, hey Paul. And already in this beginning of the tour, the guys know that there's such a strong connection with the American public coming on the heels of Sydney.
Steve McCain fell short in 1996 of making his Olympic dream come true. It happened in 2000.
He's a really emotional athlete. He said when he marched in for the first time in the Sydney arena, he almost started to cry.
Sean Townsend and Blaine. Tandem parallel bars, tandem to pelts right there.
My favorite move. Not allowed to do that. But in the show you can.
Have you picked up the pattern here? When the men's team is together, -1, it's a great setup for a featured performance.
And that feature is Paul Hamm, one of the youngest Olympians in U.S. history, and certainly one of the biggest hopes for the program in years to come.
One of the great moments for Paul in the individual all-around competition at the Sydney Olympics was that he was in the same group with Alexei Nemov. He learned a great deal from watching that athlete.
And Elfie, you mentioned he was in the same group with Nemov. He could actually rival his gymnastics ability. He's that talented.
And still to come, two-time Olympian Blaine Wilson having a little bit of fun on tour. Welcome back to the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions. I'm Beth Ruiak, along with Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. What a neat moment here.
What a great thrill and inspiration for these Special Olympic athletes to be alongside with some of their idols in the sport of gymnastics.
You know, throughout my career, I've had the chance to work with some of these great athletes, and it is such a wonderful experience. Words like confidence and pride come to mind. I tell you, I walked away feeling like a better person. It was a great experience.
See Shannon Miller on the side there with Jessica Kishner-Morgan on bars. She said, these athletes are so proud, they're so innocent, they're so happy just to have their moments.
And it's not about what they're doing, it's being out there on the floor and enjoying the moment, just savoring the cheers of the audience and the spotlight. They're loving this.
Oh, and as you have a smile on your face from that, Jamie Dancher on floor. Jamie participating in the tour this fall, and then she'll go to UCLA in January. A lot of people know that there was a really rough ending to Jamie's experience in Sydney. Her father was in a serious car accident and, in fact, is still in the hospital. They're hoping that he'll be able to come home soon, and she'll leave the tour briefly to be able to spend time with him.
And we are all very grateful that he is doing much better.
Jamie says that one of the things that people always comment about her on is her smile.
Jamie always has a lot of power. Double back here.
We asked Jamie about the Olympics, and she said, I'm not ready to talk a lot about it yet. I'm still digesting it, and of course her mind is so much with her father. Wonder where Blaine Wilson's mind is right now? It's up on his favorite event, the rings.
And you know, a lot of people feel that he didn't have the Olympics that he could have, and he didn't, because Blaine Wilson could have won an Olympic medal. He is that great of a gymnast. He just made a couple of small mistakes that cost him a 10th here or there. And at the Olympic Games, you got to be at your very best. But he has done everything for this USA Gymnastics program. 5-time national champion. And in a lot of ways, the Lord of the Ring.
This looks like a new move. In gymnastics, it's all about leaving your mark, possibly a skill named after you. That might be the Wilson, who knows?
I'm not quite sure what that mark was.
He is chewing gum.
Oh, he's
How many
fun.
times does Blaine do gymnastics without gum? Maybe in the Olympics.
No, I don't think so. I think in the Olympics he had it too. He just didn't chew quite as much.
He's relaxed here, feeling absolutely no pressure.
And because of that, he gets to do some really kind of neat things, have a little bit of fun, and this guy deserves it.
Not quite sure what to call that skill, but you know, it's the early days of the tour and they're still working out some of the kinks.
It'll be on his home video highlight reel. And now to Jessica Howard. We saw her earlier doing her ball routine, and now Jessica performs with the hoop.
Rhythmic gymnastics is all about creativity, unique elements, unique ways of using the apparatus, and I've often thought that artistic athletes could learn a lot from the rhythmic athletes in the way that they move with their music.
She was watching the Olympics when the expected individual champion, Yelena Kabayeva, accidentally let go of the hoop and ended up falling into bronze medal position. And Jessica said, if you would have told me that could even possibly happen, I would never have believed it. But she said the same thing Yelena said, which is sport is sport. It's still unpredictable.
Still amazes me the way they do things with the apparatus. It's absolutely stunning.
The 1999 Rhythmic Senior National Champion, Jessica Howard. We'll be right back. We are back in Las Vegas with the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions. Morgan White, and with her, Vanessa Atler, Dominique Moceanu, and Yelena Prudnova on beam.
Who I really am, but you'll never know me every day. It's as if I play apart. Now I see. If I wear a mask, I can fool the world, but I cannot fool my heart. Who is that girl I see, staring straight back at me? When will my reflection show? In a world where I have to hide my heart and what I believe in, but somehow I will show the world what's inside my heart and be loved for who I am. Who is that girl I see, staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Must I pretend that I'm someone else for all time? When will my reflection show who I am
Dominique Moceanu recovering from a much more serious surgery for bone chip removal than she expected, and Vanessa Atler still at this point saying that she's undecided about whether to continue in gymnastics or not.
Seven-time Olympic medalist and the 1996
And believe it or not, this young lady right here also says undecided about her gymnastics future. Hard to believe because she's already done everything you can possibly do in the sport,
including winning a gold medal on this very apparatus in 1996.
Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play. It's here and now, today. This is the moment. This is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming, scheming, and screaming become one. The day, see it sparkle and shine, when all I've lived for becomes
Shannon's moving to Houston. Her husband Chris will complete his medical residency, and she hopes to have her college degree within about a year. Is he having fun?
He's allowed to, finally.
He sold his 300 ZX, and he's driving the one vehicle he thought he would never be driving, a minivan. John Roethlisberger is driving a minivan right now.
He's a minivan driving, hard-working man, that's for sure.
And I have to add, one of the all-around nicest guys you will ever meet.
He had some neat advice for Paul and Morgan Hamm. He said, don't let the media define you. He said, I tried for so long to convince everybody how good I was. Just be who you are. Disregard it and just be who you really are.
You're the first to fight, you wait too loud. You're the first to light on the burial shroud.
John Roethlisberger.
You know, it was just a few weeks ago, the spectacular closing ceremonies in Sydney. It was the end of an Olympics that John Roethlisberger and his friend and teammate Steve McCain will never forget.
The Olympics, to say they're the greatest sporting event in the world it's such an understatement. I mean, you can't explain to people what the Olympics are and what it means to put on the red, white, and blue or whatever your country's colors are and go out there and fight for your country.
It took me a little while to kind of figure out what the Olympics meant for me, and it was such an amazing motivational piece for me that pushed me as far as I think I could go. I mean, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. It was the greatest motivational thing that I've ever had in my life.
The U.S. men's team finished 5th in Sydney, which was the same as the finish 4 years ago in Atlanta. Now, some may say it's disappointing, but not these two guys.
I'm the type of person that always wants to win, and I always expect it for myself, and I expect myself to carry a team to where I want it to be if I have to, and I didn't do those things quite the way I wanted to. You know, I just don't want to forget that I really believe I did do everything physically and mentally within my capabilities to achieve my goals.
I'm ready for the next thing, whether it's another Olympics or whether it's another Olympic-type motivation. When I went to the Olympics, I had experiences and just a perception of the sport that I'd never have. I don't know, it was just amazing. It was amazing.
Welcome back. The Olympic silver
The
medalist
TJMaxx
on the
Tour of
women's
World
side,
Gymnastics Champions.
Svetlana
I'm Beth Ruyak
Horkina.
with Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Svetlana Horkina on the floor.
And this is where you'll really see the diva in Svetlana come through. She absolutely shines on this exercise. You're going to feel like you are at a performance.
And the one English word she's working on right now is agent.
Well, she won a gold on uneven bars, her second Olympic gold medal, but she also won a silver on the floor.
All right, do we need to say anything here? I don't know if we need to say anything. The guys and high bar.
Try this at home.
Big welcome for the twins back in Wisconsin with a limo and 50, 60 gym friends cheering USA.
Actually walking between each other's hands.
I was just going to say, this looks like trouble. Well, here comes the king, Alexei Nemov, high bar gold medalist in Sydney, and here tonight to thrill the crowd in Las Vegas.
In the world, Olympic high bar gold medalist, sexy Alexei Nemov.
And if I had to pick an event where I would say all of Alexei's talents come out, it is best personified on the high bar. He is a high flyer. He's elegant. He does super crazy difficult.
And he knows how to point his toes. He does that so well.
I was getting to that, Elfie. I was getting to that.
Elegance on high bar.
But I also said he does some really mean stuff on the high bar. 2 Kovacs is coming up. Major release skills. Spotlights and all, baby.
isn't over yet.
Yeah, that's right. He never disappoints his female fans. This is becoming a trend.
How do you teach someone style? How do you teach someone panache?
This guy was born with it.
I'll comment on the double twisting, double layout right there. Awesome gymnastics. Go ahead, Elle.
But this is the best skill of all. It's called the singlet release skill.
All right, wave to the crowd, Alexi, and it seems like a good time for a break.
The 2000 tour of World Gymnastics Champions is brought to you by TJMaxx. Some people get it, some get it for less. TJMaxx. And by Lycra. Look for the Lycra hang tag on your favorite clothing at selected retail stores.
How much fun is this to finish out an Olympic year with a show and crowds across the country, which is what they'll all do now?
That's for sure. And you know, it's each one of these athletes, if you're an amateur athlete in the sport of gymnastics, your life gets segmented into every 4 years preparing for an Olympic Games. And this, as you said, it's the end of their Olympic dream.
And what an Olympic year it's been, packed full of pressure. It's just been so much fun to sit back and see a different side of these athletes.
Tim and Elfie, it's always fun to work together. See you on the road again, and see all of you. This is the TJMaxx Tour of World Gymnastics Champions on NBC.